Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Skagit Storytellers. My guest this week is Dank Zavala and his son Lyric. I saw them perform at The Swamp January 10th at the YMCA Drop-In Center. They were awesome. I knew I wanted to have them on to learn more about their craft, and also I just wanted to learn more about hip-hop in the Valley because I didn't know the Valley had a hip-hop scene at all. There were a few great acts that night. And it was super fun. The reason why this intro is a bit different is because I recorded an intro with a band called Seraphic. They're opening the next Swamp show, which is on Friday. So you're listening on Wednesday, the 5th, and the show is on Friday, the 7th. Pretty much nothing has a show that they just announced. They are going to be opening for a band from Snohomish County named Woodshed. We listened to some of their stuff online and they're pretty awesome. So come on out to the Arcadian Public House on April 11th. All right, that's it. I told you I was going to keep it short. Enjoy your week, be of use, and go do something hard. I feel like your name has come up in conversation like a ton the last 2 weeks. So thank you for coming.
Of course.
All the way from Anacortes. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
All right. Okay, you go first, Fia.
I'm Fia Lawrence. I'm the lead singer of Seraphic.
So slay. I'm Ava. I play guitar and I do backing vocals.
I'm Ellie. I'm the bassist of Seraphic. I don't do backing vocals. I scream sometimes, but yeah.
Lillian and I met at Amp Camp.
Was this last year or the year before?
This was last year.
Okay.
Lillian and I met at Amp Camp, and that was really nice. But Ava had done Amp Camp the week before us, or the month before us.
I did the first round of Amp Camp, and I was supposed
because there was two, yeah.
Yeah, and I was supposed to go to the second one, but I had like a trip already planned.
Yeah, so one of our mutual friends actually pieced us together. And then I met Elise at freshman orientation. I'm like, hey, you're really pretty. Let's be friends. Do you play any instruments? Do you want to join a band? And she had never touched a bass before joining our band. Well, you played rhythm guitar, right? Really? Electric guitar. But not a bass.
But bass wasn't your primary instrument.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, so how about bass? We need a bassist. So we just kind of threw her in the mix, and it worked out really well. Yes. It was perfect.
What do you guys sound like? What's like...
Well, for me, I would like to say kind of like a mix between the band whole and then kind of just like the more kind of punk girly sound, you know? Kind of like Riot Girl-ish.
Yeah, I'd say it's a mix between like Riot Girl, maybe like sort of glam punk, and then like we have some elements of grunge, I'd say.
And even some kind of like pop-ish.
Yeah, I think a lot of like my lyric writing comes like my stylistic stuff has been inspired by some pop artists.
Mine's definitely whole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then so who writes a majority of the songs?
Mostly Fia.
I'd say I write 75% of the lyrics.
And so how many songs do you feel like you have now for your first record?
Oh, so we have enough for if we like finished all of our songs, because there's like lots of like 75% written but not fully finished. We have enough for probably 2 albums. If we were to finish all of our music right now, if we took like a month and just got everything done,
I think we should do that.
I think we should.
After our next show happening on the 7th, we're going to take a tiny break from shows to focus on recording stuff. So that's where we'll be.
Yes.
When you go to shows, are you nervous?
It depends on how practiced we are. I think
and how many people are there too.
I think for Rock the Island, I was really confident. And then for the Valentine's show, I was a little more nervous because I didn't feel fully practiced. But I think overall we get like a little bit of stage jitters, but I think we know really well in our hearts that we're all like good.
We're gonna do good, yeah. I think what helps me if I have like stage jitters or something, since I'm the bassist, I always I'm kind of behind a little bit because I don't use a microphone. So I always just kind of like look at the drummer. I just stare at her like the entire time. I hardly look at the crowd at all. I just either stare at Fia's back or I just stare at her drummer and we just make eye contact the whole entire show.
Have you guys met Surreal? The guys from Surreal?
No, but
you never believe this. I was listening to their music before I even realized that they were from here.
Really?
And I'm so excited. I'm going to get all their autographs. Surreal, if you're listening, I literally love you.
We need to exchange autographs.
We need to exchange autographs right now.
Please.
Yeah.
So what's more stressful, getting ready for a show, recording, or all your high school courses?
High school.
The show.
The show.
High school for me.
I just like tune out everything that happens during the day, and then once I get to band practice, I'm like, okay,
Time to
now
tune
I'm
back in.
involved.
Yeah.
Time to lock in.
Yeah. I would sit at home, do a face mask, and watch Netflix all day for as long as I can remember. And then I met these guys, and I'm like, oh my god, I have a life. I have a purpose.
Yay.
So I would say your message to youth in the Valley is,
Go out and do something.
were you expecting this would happen at a band camp? Like, what were you thinking you'd get out of it?
I just wanted to learn how to make music better because I was doing like solo stuff, and all I played is like simple guitar and a little ukulele. And I could never write anything good, and I'm like, I want to go out and meet people who can help me learn to be a better musician because I think this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it was magical.
Yeah.
How about you, Ava?
For me, I went to the first band camp because I thought it would be fun, and also I was looking for a band. And at the time, like between that time of wanting a band and going to amp camp, I found a band. Like I made one. It's not a thing anymore, but it's Suffix. Yeah. And so I was preparing for the first Battle of the Bands, which was like my first show that I would ever play. So it was kind of like a practice for me, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty much it.
How about you?
Well, personally, I was not really expecting at all, because I just moved here in like this summer.
Oh, from where?
Texas, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I really wasn't expecting to go to freshman orientation, not knowing a single person, and then having Fia come up to me and being like, hey, you're really cool. We should hang out. I'm in a band. You should join.
So you moved here from Texas. First
yes.
day of school, she introduced herself.
Yeah.
I was with like Gabby and Layla, and they like pointed you out to me, and I was like, none of them had the nerve to say anything to you, and I was like, oh my god, I have to work on my confidence. She's so cool. She's gorgeous. And I came up to you. I'm like, hi, I'm Fia. Do you want to stick together for freshman orientation?
And obviously, I mean, I didn't know anybody, and I was like, yes, of course.
You can't see it now, but they're holding hands.
Yes.
I was a new kid back in like when I moved here. I moved mid-year.
Where did you move from?
I moved from just Mukilteo, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I've been moving further north. Like I was born in L.A. Which is actually the main reason we wrote Goodbye Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
And then I moved to Seattle, then to Mukilteo, and then here. And it was like right after lockdown, so we were just coming back into school, and it was really rough. And it was kind of weird to make new friends. So like since then I'm just like, why don't I just go out, introduce myself to people, like even just like getting up the confidence to compliment someone, like it'll make their day. And like that's why I like reached out to you. I was like, why don't I just like at least like tell her she's gorgeous, make her day, and then we just like became really good friends instantly.
Well, as we said, anyone can play the bass, so might as well have someone
Even
pretty.
I can play bass.
What are other things that they can do besides like just walking up to a stranger and saying like,
be in my band?
yeah.
Well, I think for me, I obviously didn't expect to be in a band. But when I lived in Texas, I just kind of bought myself a guitar because I thought it was fun, and that's kind of where I started my journey. I didn't really expect it to go anywhere. I mean, I wanted it to, but I was trying to be realistic. So I bought myself a guitar. I took lessons. I tried to teach myself. I did that for a little while. I got somewhere. And then I moved here. So even if you don't like do it with other people right off the bat, I think it's definitely a good quality to have, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing to do, like no matter what instrument you play, like if you take lessons, if you teach yourself. Yeah, so I think either or, I mean, it's just a really fun thing to do, and it, like, I don't know, it gets you somewhere, yeah?
And I think the Anacortes Music Project, don't they have instruments that you can
like lend out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I did.
Did you?
I played electric guitar for like my entire time. Like that's what I learned on my first thing. It's what I played for the longest time. And then when I moved here, and I was like, Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't really have a bass to practice with or do anything, so I borrowed one from Buxton's or from the Anacortes Music Project for like I think a month or two before I was like, this is a solid instrument, and I got one. I got a great bass. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think like even if you don't want to do just music, just like choose something, like anything, like if you want to try it. Yeah, put yourself in the community, because I think the hardest thing is to live not knowing what you want to do and not doing anything. Like for the longest time, like I had nothing to do, and I was like, why am I alive? What am I doing? What am I doing? And then I started doing music, and I'm like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Like finding what you love doing, what you want to do is so important.
But
like,
that just involves so much failure at the beginning. And I think that's what kids are probably, well, people in general, not kids, but people are just scared of failing at something, being bad.
I think the thing is, like, you have to realize that failure is a part of success. 100%. And, like, it's hard to build up the confidence to get out there, but once you do, it's so worth it.
I think especially once you find the confidence to do that, and with the right people, it can get you so far, which is why I'm so grateful for you guys. You guys are so awesome. Yes, helping me out with my journey. Yeah, you guys are just so awesome. I think that 100% has been so like awesome and helpful, and like just whole thing.
The best thing about the band is that we're not just a band. We're really good friends. Yeah. Like if I love like in the group chat, we'll just like yap. Yeah. Like I don't know if that's just me, but I'll literally send like my randomest thought. I'm like, I want Cheez-Its right now. And like we'll like deep dive into a conversation. About Cheez-Its, yeah. We go out and do roller skating, and we love to roller skate.
What do your parents think about all this?
I think all of our parents are really supportive, which is great. My dad always comes to shows. He's been like building financial models for us. What? Ava's parents drive us everywhere. Elise's, when Lillian can't. Lillian's parents are helping us find places to record. Elise's dad brings food. Free hot dogs.
That's so sweet.
Shout out to our sponsor, Dockside Dogs.
Are you guys gonna have merch at your show?
We are.
Yes.
Oh,
actually,
you all perked up on that.
Today, we're printing those today.
Really? When I get home, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my mom made like the screen printing templates with their Cricut and stuff. So
yeah. Oh, you have one?
The original.
This
is my original Seraphic shirt.
You can't see, but it's like a heart, and it has angel wings. This is the one that Lisa's dad made.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if you see these shirts on eBay, these are the original T-shirt.
Original Seraphic shirts.
On eBay.
In like 20 years.
Okay, well, thanks for coming.
Of course.
Your first podcast ever. Yeah. Sorry Lillian couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to meet her.
I've been like sobbing every night missing her for real.
But she's on a mission though, finding your recording studio.
Yes. But
all right, so everyone's going to see you at your show. You'll open, but then you'll obviously stay for the next two.
Yeah.
And people can talk to you. Kids can reach out and be like, how did you do that? I want to do it. You can help them out.
Just come up to us and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, we don't bite.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Well, Fia might.
I was going to say, if you're pretty, Fia will come up to you.
Yeah.
And talk to you.
No, because if I think you're cool, I will come up to you. I don't care if you play an instrument. I don't care what you do. I'm going to be like, hey, do you want to learn an instrument? Do you do anything? What do you do? Do you want to like, you know, like...
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers
with Liz Duffy. So I like to start with how we met. I met you guys upstairs 7 minutes ago. Thanks for coming over. I did see you though. The first time I saw you was at Swamp in Cedar Woolley, Clay and Wes's nonprofit that they started. How did you get involved in that?
One day while I was recording some music, Wes, a good friend of mine, Wes Jones, reached out and asked if I wanted to help out with not only performing but gathering a good amount of young artists to perform at the Swamp.
Because he wanted to do a strictly hip hop.
Yeah, strictly hip hop at first. From the ages of all the way to 21, pretty much. And what I did was I agreed. But I know so many artists, not just in the hip hop genre. So what I did was I got Hyro G, who's a 17-year-old from Skagit Valley, who does a little bit of everything. Started with hip hop, now does like Latin music, corridos, and a bunch of different genres he's doing right now. And then I got Tiana, who I grew up with, and she's part of a new band called what was Echoes that night.
I was gonna say, did they change their name already?
They changed their name. They changed their name later that day, and I think they changed it again. From what I heard, it's now Affect. It's officially Affect. Is what they go by
right now.
Yeah,
as of this date.
I think that's the one for sure. They've already that was their first show, their debut. So I was glad to make that happen.
And so you said that you've known Tiana.
I've known her since she was born. Like,
really?
Yeah, we lived on the same street. Her two brothers are my best friends. They're my brothers pretty much.
Yeah.
We grew up together, and we just been through the ups and downs of just living in Skagit County, you know.
So you're born and raised Skagit?
Born and raised in Mount Vernon at the hospital. How
did you get to this point where you're a musician? Like, did you know early on, oh, this is what I want to do? Were your parents into music? What kind of was the ignition for you?
I've explained this theory in my songs and like just spread out in different songs because I try to wonder the same thing. Like, my mom was a big music head, and I would just be in the kitchen eating my lunch that she cooked for me. And
what would she listen to?
To a lot of Spanish music, a lot of Juana Gabriel, Vicente Fernandez, Los Temerarios, a bunch of music from where she's from. And so I think that played a big part. My dad was more like he wasn't so crazy about music, but he would pull up home like after work playing some classic rock. I remember him from just playing whatever was on the radio. So classic rock with the radio static was my nostalgic, background. But I pretty much just discovered hip hop around the age of like 13. Coming across an Eminem CD at a garage sale, and
what was the CD?
It was Marshall Mathers LP.
Is that with the red curtains?
It's the one before that.
Oh, okay,
it's the one before that. Okay. And at the time, I was not allowed to listen to like music with bad words, especially Eminem. My dad told me to turn off Eminem one time. And this one time I stumbled across that disc in a random bulk of CDs for 50 cents. And in the middle of the random CDs that didn't work or anything was an Eminem CD, which I figured somebody's parents put in there to get it so the kids wouldn't listen to it. So 50 cents, that was one of the best garage sale purchases ever. And then eventually in high school, I just came across a group of friends who had studio equipment, and then even just finding my own person in high school, I eventually drifted off and started doing my own thing. Started doing the music I wanted to because I felt like I was trying to make music that everyone else wanted to hear. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until like 18, 19, and a bunch of life experiences that made me just change my outlook on life and music that made me want to just be more, more honest and much more human in my songs without as much ego that the hip hop genre has a stereotype of being,
Did you like writing in high school?
So high school, that's hilarious that you asked me that because I was not the best student in school. I should have put in more effort, but writing class, I had A's all day. And
like poetry, creative writing,
just writing in general. I'm trying to get back into poetry and just write poems just for the love of it. There's a beauty in that. So I think my best classes in high school were graphic arts, which is why I make my own album covers to this day, and writing, which is it just came to play into the passion that I have. A good collaborator friend of mine from Toulouse, France. He goes by La Cantina. That's his stage name. He produces amazing music, and we just been making music here and there since 2019. He discovered me from a song I released called Paper Planes, which lyric is in the music video in. And then after years of just collaborating here and there, we finally decided to make a whole album, EP album, whatever.
Oh, together?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so we got a graphic designer to help us with the cover art. they chose a picture of Lyric, which I thought was pretty cool. And Lyric's been listening to the project as I mix it this past year. It's been in the works for since late 2023.
Yeah.
I thought I was done with it 5 times, but but life experiences and whatnot just go back into it, and it brings back that passion, that fuel,
A bunch of artists I've talked to, they have trouble releasing stuff and thinking that it's done. So it's a little bit of a perfectionist idea, but then also one guy has 80 songs. And I swear he has no singles out, no EP, no album. He had a single release last year, and then he just took it back because he thinks that he's a better singer now. And I kept saying to him, I want to see your growth.
Yeah.
It's so fun to look back at Radiohead's first album and go, oh, wow, that's different,
Yeah.
And so is that possibly a reason why you thought that you were done? Because that was 2 years ago. But you're what are you tweaking? Are you adding more songs?
I did add 3 songs since the last time I thought it was finished. Pretty much, if it was up to me, it would have been out last year. I ran the ideas and songs through my collaborator, and he was like, "No, we need a little bit more." And at first I was like, man, I really wanted this to be a 2024 thing. But then looking back at it after the few songs I added, and I was like, this was the glue. This was exactly what I needed to wrap this up. And if I would have released it how I wanted to out of impatience, I would have liked it, but I wouldn't have loved it. And now I'm just so excited for this this body of work to finally be out here soon.
So when is it supposed to be released? Do we have a set date now?
I want to say it would be out before this. it will be out before the summertime this year, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
So spring 2025.
Yes.
Got it. How many releases do you have?
I've started.
I guess between EPs, albums.
The ones that count. I got endless mixtapes. The ones that count. I kind of feel what your friend was saying. I got 80 songs, and yeah, there's been times where I deleted my songs from streaming platforms because I'd be in my head about things like that. And you're right, it's good for the viewers and listeners to see your growth.
Just make sure the year is on there.
I've had someone told me one time, they're like, hey, I checked out your music, and not only did I check out your music, I went through your older stuff to see if that's really how you were, or you were just portraying this new image recently. And I was like, that's interesting that you said that. And I was like, I don't know, maybe that's a good reason to keep my songs up there. If you really want to look back at my discography, my catalog, feel free. But pretty much, I didn't start releasing music on all platforms, as in Spotify and whatnot, till 2019. Before that, it was just endless songs on SoundCloud, YouTube, off production that sometimes wasn't mine. It was just beats I found laying around on the internet. And then eventually I got tired of that because of the copyright strikes that came with that.
Right.
And it wasn't until 2019, off of one of those YouTube beats I rapped over, I found, or a collaborator found me, and that was who I'm working with making an album to this day.
So the person in France that you're working with, you've never met him?
I never met him. We talk all the time. His real name's Clement.
This is probably a lot different for you, collaborating with someone in France. What was your experience before? In terms of producing your music?
I mixed and engineered all my music, including this project that's going to come out. But he handled the production, which is amazing because it just adds a whole nother element and aesthetic to this project, its whole vibe.
Yeah.
Very unique production that you don't really hear here in the States, that I haven't heard at least.
Oh, wow.
It's very unique sampling and drum patterns that just blow your mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but it's
it'll be good is what you're saying.
But pretty much since 2019 I released 3 full mixtapes. Some will consider them albums, but since I don't know, I think it's too early to say that I've made an official album.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then 2024 I released 4 EPs. And that was just a little personal challenge I just wanted to set for myself, just to give each EP its own little room to breathe, pretty much. Each EP was produced by one producer. One of them I produced everything. The other one was by a couple friends. Even my bass player produced on one of them.
Do you have a band?
Yeah.
That used to be Morgan McHugh's backup band. Is that right? Atomic.
Yes, Atomic Affair was the original band.
Yes.
But
and then Morgan went solo.
James got out of the band too. He played the guitar. I'm working with the drum player from Atomic Affair.
Is that AJ?
AJ. And
oh wait, he was also in Echoes.
yes, he was. He is in Echoes. He is in Echoes. That's why I think it's so beautiful to see them collab.
And I'm gonna say this on here because I
Yeah.
thought it was so funny. During one of the guys rapping, I forget which one it was. It wasn't you. One of them said marijuana, and then AJ goes, "Woo!" Yeah. And I laughed so hard. I was like, "Who's that dude yelling?" It was just funny. It was just funny to me. And then the last
That's
band comes
funny.
up, and AJ goes up there. I'm like, "That's the Woo guy is the drummer."
That's hilarious. I think that was
AJ seems like a cool guy.
he definitely is. Very positive dude. I love that guy. I think that was my nephew Jonathan Blaze on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's my nephew. Yeah.
Where are there hip hop shows in the Valley that people can go to?
That's a tricky.
Are they frequent?
They're more not in the Valley. I mean, we try to bring them here to Skagit and Mount Vernon, Burlington, Cedro. So that's why the Swamp and the whole rec center night was just such a breath of fresh air, because not a lot of shows happen like that around here. And a lot of times it's because venues think that a fight's gonna break out at a hip hop show or a rap show,
Really?
just because off the stereotype. That
Oh.
happens to be a lot of the cases. I don't want to blame it all on that, but that's why I love Bellingham a lot, because it's such a musical, local music community where everyone just supports each other. A lot of venues to bounce back from, and
Where are some places you played in Bellingham?
so I think I got my. I don't want to say my first start, but consistent shows at the Blue Room.
Oh, I love the Blue
Yeah.
Room.
Martine runs that place. Great guy, too. We make music as well together. He gave me one of my first shots there right after COVID. It was weird times.
I've been to the Blue Room quite a few times. I love the fact that it's all ages.
And it's a venue for the artists. It's by the artists for the artists.
Yeah. And I feel like you could probably just come up to them and like with your idea, and they would like, yeah, let's give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking about that, my good friend Tiana she's having an amazing show she's putting together there at the Blue Room April 12th, I believe.
Okay, who's that? Who's gonna
Tiana.
be there? Oh no, but who's gonna be in the show?
It's like her birthday celebration, but it's like a whole. It's a whole.
You're gonna be there.
I'm gonna be helping with the sound.
Yeah.
But it's a whole Tiana event. I really, you got to see for yourself.
I'll have to have Tiana on.
Yeah. Oh, you should. You should. As far as this year, I haven't really booked any shows. I've been so consistent the past few years, just like playing 15 to 20 shows throughout the year. And then it always gets fun once we get moving towards more like Seattle. We did one in Puyallup at a festival called Cantana Fest last year.
Okay.
And it was cool because the sound guy was Redman, who I grew up listening to. And so having him announce me coming out on stage was like it was core memory, you know?
Yeah.
And just one of those like things that as a kid I would be proud of just looking back. Like I literally had a Redman CD age of like 15 to having him announce me on stage is just a full circle moment for sure. Yeah, so I do have a band. The guitar player, lead guitar, that's Zane. The saxophone player, that's a good friend of mine, Alejandro. And then AJ on the drums and Zale on the bass guitar. And we're looking for a key player too, so if you're listening to this, hit me up.
I was gonna ask how you got your band, like just in the community, just meeting people. Or doing this, reaching out, like you're on KSVR and you say, we need a bassist or something?
It's actually a legendary story how I met them. I met them 2023. I think it was in May. I got messaged by AJ. I never met AJ, but he's heard about me performing in Bellingham. He reached out, hey, you want to play our college show? And I was like, give me more details. As always, I need details. And it was a whole block party. It was called Lawn Fest.
Oh, like
and
at Western? Or?
Lawn Fest. It was on High Street, and
Okay.
a lot of Western students went by. It was like, we're talking about the whole block got taken over. People almost got kicked out of their houses by their landlords. It was fire.
That's because you had a hip hop artist there.
Yes, and I was and so I was only hip hop artist of the night. I didn't perform with the band because I didn't have a band yet, but that's where I met AJ, I met Alejandro, and eventually met the other guys. And now we're just very good friends with good chemistry, just kicking it, jamming. They actually just messaged me earlier. We're supposed to jam here soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking too, when I went to that Swamp show, I thought I want more shows to have a variety of music. So, have this really great Americana folk band. Why have an Americana folk band open? Why not just have you open? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I just feel like the people that are going out to local shows of original music, they just care about music.
Yeah.
Why not throw in a genre they might not really know about? You
Right.
know? I mean, obviously we know about hip hop, but like, I wouldn't say I'm like a huge hip hop fan, but then when I saw you, your music's just so good. It just makes you like go, oh wait, no, I like this. I think I like hip hop. Even like the Super Bowl, I was like, oh, I didn't know this, but I like Kendrick Lamar. I think we're going to go to a show in May. Like, so it's not that I disliked them before.
Yeah.
I just never listened to them.
Yeah.
There's only so many hours in the day, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool if you guys go to the show. Me and my wife are going too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, and that's funny too, because Spencer, my husband, he's really into reggae. And I would always joke like I hated reggae, but then I just thought about it. I just don't listen to reggae. I'm sure there's probably reggae songs out there that I would like. So there you go. Local Skagit musicians, please start mixing genres at your shows.
Yeah, and that's like that's kind of how I like approach music too. I mean it's mainly hip hop, but I do love all sorts of genres because I'm open to whatever is good music. Good music is good music.
And you never know who you're gonna meet. Like you met AJ at this block party.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't specifically a hip hop thing, but you went, and so it's like really cool that people are just going out there and trying new things.
Exactly.
Again, huge shout out to Clay and Wes. How did you meet Wes?
Wes, I've actually invited Wes over to the house before for a 2022 album mixtape. Again, it's a mixtape.
Okay.
I had him record over at my home studio to lay down some vocals. So we've been knowing each other. I've known him.
Just heard him in the scene.
You
were like, oh, he's good.
I've seen Wes be a part of a few bands growing up. I remember when he was part of a band with Big Moan. It was called Big Moan and the Brothers Frog. I think he was part of that.
Is that I saw a video of Wes rapping on like the steps of something.
Yes, he does music with maybe, but he does music with friends of mine, Celestino and Fizz.
Okay.
Like, so when Wes hops on a hip hop track, I tell him like, dude, you're a rapper too, man. Like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, Wes is cool.
Well, I was gonna say I texted him and I said, "Hey, anything I can say on my podcast." He's Dank's coming over soon. He said, "I don't have a lot of history with him, but I'm happy to see someone who's so involved in the community while growing his craft. He's a huge role model for a bunch of up and comers, and he's a great father. Truly a pinnacle of the hip hop community around here." And then he said, "Ask him about the old Cypher videos."
The old Cypher videos.
What are those?
I'm trying to think if he's in a Cypher.
Oh, he's in one of them?
No, I'm trying to think. But yeah, if the only ciphers I can think of is a series of ciphers, Washington State ciphers. That was.
Is that a band?
No, it's a YouTube series that was made by my friend Desi Vivanco, aka DJ Protocol. He has this series of ciphers where pretty much he'll get a verse from 4 to 5 different artists from the area, and it starts with Skagit, but he's reached down to Wenatchee, Arlington, a bunch of different counties to see, just pretty much for letting artists showcase their skill and talent on the microphone. He would get a good videographer who does videos for me, Abel Garcia. Shout out to Northwest Image. It's just pretty much giving an opportunity to up-and-coming artists, even artists that barely have anything out. Desi has a big heart, and he sees the potential in a lot of upcoming musicians.
So he basically just does it to get more, to get up and comers kind of out there.
Give them their shine.
Yeah.
Sometimes not everybody can afford a good quality video to go with their song, so it's pretty much giving them the platform to showcase their skill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called Washington State Cypher. Just look that up on YouTube. You'll find a bunch of them on there. I'm in a few of them, and when I'm not, I have... I'm doing some background stuff, either with the audio engineering or helping with the video setup, something.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of hands-on, behind-the-scenes work that I do.
Man, there's so much happening in the Valley musically that I just have no idea about. I love this.
But you know what? Speaking about ciphers, I think that's what needs to happen. I think we need to see Wes Jones in the next cipher. I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah. Wes, I know you're listening. That's going to happen. When we had the Swamp show... I love it. I bring our kids, our 5-year-old and 12-year-old, And they hang out sometimes on the music side, but then they usually just spend most of the time playing, which is fine because they can still hear it. Safe environment. But after the show, my daughter Olive, she said, yeah, we're sitting there coloring. Because I said, hey, isn't this cool? She's like, yeah. And I said, oh, man, that last act was so good. She goes, yeah, I was sitting there coloring with this kid. And then suddenly he just gets up. And then I hear him on stage. When was the first time you went on stage? Was it a festival, a show?
I think, yeah, it was I think it was in Bellingham, somewhere around there. And all I remember that I didn't practice, and I just went on stage and I performed my first song. I think I practiced, and I remember what happened. It was like so much wind there. My dad told me that he first started making music when I was 16, and he started making his first time on a concert was 15, and I didn't do that. My first time I went on a stage, which is that I was 5, and the first song I made was 5. I recorded my first song at daycare with Heidel G.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he goes there.
What was the subject of your first song? Did you have a song about your dad? About candy? I don't know. What do kids write songs about?
I was wearing a tie-dye shirt, and I named it tie-dye, and everyone was calling it balcony because I was keep thinking of my grandma's balcony, and I would just think about all the squirrels I would see, and so I just say balcony out of nowhere. I didn't know what to say, so I just kept going and going, but it turned out to be good. I felt the moment.
Can I ask you something? After recess, is there 1,000 sweatshirts in the field?
Yeah.
Is your lost and found overflowing at school?
Yeah.
How does that happen? Why can't kids pick up their stuff?
I don't know.
It drives me insane. Do you ever come home and your dad's like, where's your hoodie?
Yeah.
Tell him to hang up his hoodie. All the 5 hoodies spread all over the couch.
5 hoodies on the couch?
Oh, I got a daughter too, so it's 2 hoodies each and some 5th one.
I was gonna ask about merch. Do you have merch?
Yeah. My dad made merch first, and so I wanted to make merch too. I was my dad was saying, I don't want to be like him. I want to be better than him, but not mean as better. So I want to be like him, but not super like him, doing rap and going to so much concerts. Not wearing his t-shirts, not like that, like him, not I'm his twin.
Basically, you want to learn from his mistakes. He's like, hey, I did this when I was 10. I don't want you to do that or whatever.
Yeah.
When is the next show that people could see you at?
So
besides Tiana's birthday party.
the next show is in the works. We are planning something for late April.
For the release?
No, for the next show.
Okay, not the album, but you were saying the album should be done.
The album should be out by May, June.
Okay. Well, whenever there's a release, you'll do a big party.
I'm planning on it. I never done that for any project. Usually
you haven't?
No, and it's because part of me feels like not enough people care. Part of me feels like, man, as long as I made this for me, and that's all that matters. If someone else likes it, even better, but I just know that I made this for me. It feels so good that it's out. I'm going to celebrate with my little family. I don't need much of a crazy album release party. But with this one coming up, I've been working on it for probably the longest one that I've so far. And I feel like it needs a proper, presentation.
Well, I'm thinking about your dear friend who lives in France, who is working so hard on your album. I feel like you should put a big show into this.
Yeah.
To respect his effort,
For sure.
And it's so funny when you were saying all that, it sounds like something Lyric would say. If someone likes my song, that's cool. And I want to be like, hey, you're amazing. Please, like, you're so humble.
Yeah.
You need like a little, I want to like pour some ego on you. Just a little bit.
Know.
Just get a little bit.
But you see, you might not see that side of me in person, but on my songs, you'll hear that I can get a little like, you hear my confident side. You do.
Album release shows are just something so special. It's about you, obviously, but it's a chance for your fan base to connect too.
Mm-hmm. That whole youth rec center show was just amazing. They're just passing out T-shirts to the kids, and they were loving it. That was cool.
Well, and you guys are. I mean, that was the fourth. I think that was the fourth show. You guys are the only ones that threw T-shirts out. I've never seen that before.
I made them that same day. I made them that same day. I was in a rush.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
No, that was great. That was a really fun show, and the one coming up on this Friday, March 7th. Are you guys going to go to that?
Is that this Friday?
Not this Friday, but next Friday. So a week and one day.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be there with the youth center, the whole Triumph.
You guys got to come because it's only youth bands. Do you know what the Anacortes Music Project is?
I've heard about it.
Okay, yeah. So that's what Swamp is like modeled after, basically. So the Anacortes Music Project puts on camps in the summer, and they do two weeks, two separate sessions of band camp. And so they basically, kids sign up, and then they split the kids up, and the kids make bands, and then they write a song. So on Friday, like they met Monday, on Friday, these kids are performing the one song they wrote, and they have like a theme and they have a name, and it's quick, but like that's what you need to do, right? Yeah. So there's a band called Seraphic, I always say it wrong. 4 girls from Anacortes, 4 teenagers, they're like 16 years old. They're gonna play too. So it's all youth bands. There's no big name to have a draw, and that's the first time they've done this, which is great. And so it's alternative rock, grunge, but I mean at this point I don't even care what genre it is. These are up and coming musicians, like we need to go.
Yeah.
Even if we're just another head in the crowd, even if we're some random person that says to them like, you're so good, keep going. You know, I think that they deserve that. So
100%.
They're on stage.
Yeah.
They're probably terrified. If they're not, like if they're like Lyric, like, yeah, this is normal, like good for them. But I think that, yeah, and I love the 6 p.m. start time. It's very early. I love it. I love that it's free. And it just feels safe there.
It definitely was. Everyone's just having a great time. That was my first time going in there, actually. And I was just impressed by the whole layout, air hockey table.
Yeah.
I'm big on collaborating. Like when it comes to my projects, like I passionately want to collaborate with someone if I'm a fan of you. You know, not just if I know you. You know, I know so many people, but if I feel like you make sense for that song or project I'm working on, then I'm gonna reach out and try my best to engineer you and just to like direct you with the idea I'm going with.
Yeah.
And even when like sometimes I get tired of mixing my own music, so I was like, hey, I reach out to some friends. Hey, you need some help with some music? Cause I need some inspiration. You know, let me help you out. Well, it's usually during my writer's block where I'm like recording to someone else. I'm like, I'm just not in the writing mode, and I know it, but I still want to keep the juices flowing somehow. So let's work.
Yeah. Do you try to write every day?
That is, you know, I would like to, but sometimes I get so busy where I can't. 1 to 3 times a week, you know. It depends. Like right now, like I'm just wrapping up this project, so I'm doing a lot of mixing and mastering as of recent. So the last time I wrote something was like a few days ago, but I can't say I write every day. I wish. If it is, it's gonna be a liner here and there, but not a full verse.
Charlie Parton was here. He's a local country singer, and he was saying that he likes to drive. When he drives, he thinks of so many things to sing about. What's like something that like inspires you, or do you just like look at what's happening in your current life?
A lot of my current life. I try not to watch the news. I don't watch that much TV in general. I watched so much TV and played so much video games growing up where like the music took over my life. I just don't have time for it. So I think my inspiration comes from just going outside. I love camping in the summertime with the family.
Oh, I saw some pictures of you guys hiking.
Yeah, I love hiking.
Little Mountain?
Little Mountain is, it's a go-to spot. I love hiking. Just walking in general is just good for the brain. Just good clarity. A good way to get some clear thoughts.
I agree. Okay, so if you... Oh, did you want to say something, Lyric?
Yep.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Oh, we were just talking about what inspires your dad to write. So, like, one of my friends, he likes to go for drives. And then when he's going for a drive, looking at the scenery, he thinks of like things to sing about.
No, I was gonna say, when you're talking about Little Mountain, I just wish I could just ride my bike up there. If I had a mountain bike, I don't have a mountain bike.
That is
But
steep up there.
Still, I can't because I would hurt myself going down, and it's a good walk.
Do you play any sports?
No, I want to play soccer.
Oh, soccer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I just wish I could bring a bike so I can just ride to the top and see the view.
The view is beautiful.
Yeah, I saw another mountain on YouTube where like it was like fields, a whole bunch of fields that you could see there. I meant to say, and in one of my dad's videos, it was an old video. I think it was Little Mountain, but he was like on this rock, and if you like, when the view where someone was like recording, it looked like he was in the sky, just a rock floating.
Have you been to Oyster Dome?
No.
Okay. It sounds like you're talking about Oyster Dome to me. Have you been up there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
I've been up there like, was it last year?
Yeah.
A good 2-hour hike up there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Well, depending on where you start. Like, you can start from a couple different spots. Did you start from the road?
I think so.
Yeah, because you can drive to Samish Overlook. And it's not an easy hike, but it's a shorter hike to get to the top.
I had to go for the full experience.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I guess when you guys have your next show, you said you're trying to set something up late April. We'll share about it, yeah. And, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm thinking like any local musicians who hear this, regardless of your genre, you're willing to, collaborate with them. And
yeah, please.
You want to, yeah.
Please reach out if you got any questions. I mean, that's what I do. I work at a youth center.
Oh, do you?
Some
I
days
didn't
out of
ask
the
you
week.
that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Where do you work?
I'm at Triumph Teen Life Center.
Where's that?
It's on College Way in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
I'm there Mondays and Fridays in the studio. We got a studio there, and we just create with middle schoolers, the high schoolers, making beats. We have a booth. We record.
Wow, that's incredible.
Sometimes they bring in their instruments from band class, and we just record it, make a beat behind it. Try to show them like the whole ropes of freestyling and writing music. But right now it's a lot of audio production.
And is this like a free thing? Kids can just
it's a free.
drop in?
You just gotta sign in, register. Sorry, and then you'll be signing in. You'll get a code on the iPad, and yeah, free, 100% free.
Wow.
Get snacks. We have workshops, and it's not just music. There's art rooms, art classes. There's a rec center.
And what are the ages?
From 11 until you're out of high school, I believe.
17, 18.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to Anacortes and I see, so at Buxton's, above Buxton's, there's every instrument you can think of to play, and it's open a lot. Kids can just stop by, and they always talk about drop in and play something. And I always thought, I want an amp here. Well, and then that's how the Swamp came about, and they're getting their feet wet with lots of different stuff. But I didn't know there was other stuff. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else in the area that you know about that we can share besides Triumph?
When I just working in this organization, I just started learning about some here and there, like the Swamp. Yeah. So I'm just barely getting to know the ones that are around the area.
How long have you been at Triumph?
Since 2022.
Okay, so who runs it? Like, who started it?
The founder is Sylvia Alvarez.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she just started it because there was a lack of opportunity.
And she has a big heart. I think she saw the potential in that area, and just the kids needed an after-school program to keep them out of trouble.
Wow.
I mean, that like I expressed to her all the time. That's something I wish I had growing up. I would have been out of some trouble for sure.
Well, I saw this article that talked about how there's a lack of third spaces for kids. So kids have home, they have school, and a lot of kids used to, maybe hang out at church or something, or even the mall, or even coffee shops. Mm-hmm. Kids don't do that anymore. So they're lacking that third space where they can just be themselves.
Exactly. And obviously we don't have a mall no more. So where are these kids going to go to socialize after school? Yeah.
The Burlington and Cedar Woolley libraries, I'm actually very impressed with them. I think the Mount Vernon one's pretty cool too. I think that those are trying to become a spot that kids can go as well. Can we find the Triumph information online?
Yeah, you just go to Triumph TLC.org. TLC is for Teen
Oh,
Life
like
Center.
that. Yeah.
And you can just register on there. It's free.
Oh,
You
that's
just
so
need your
cool.
parents' permission.
All right, Lyric. Well, I know it's a school night. It's 7:30. What time do you usually go to bed?
9.
I should say, what time should you go to bed? Like, what time do your parents tell you to go to bed or put you to bed?
9.
Do you actually fall asleep at 9?
Yes.
You're saying yes. Your dad's shaking your head no. I know this is an audio podcast, but I'm calling you out. No. I'm just begging you, buddy.
Sometimes we watch movies and then we go past 9 sometimes.
Yeah,
But
I've been there.
Normally I fall asleep maybe 9:30 or something.
Yeah, you gotta try to stick to a schedule for sure. Weekends are hard though. I'm like, no, we're gonna stay up, and then I regret it the next day.
Yeah, we usually pass out on the couch 9 o'clock and then wake up on the floor 2 in the morning.
All right, well, hey, thanks for coming over, guys.
Thank you so much, Liz, for having us.
I don't really know how to use typewriters. Like, do you have to put a paper in?
You can type your lyrics on a typewriter.